For all my gamers and streamers and podcasters out there looking to look better, to make your videos and your podcast, your gaming, look that much more professional, I got something for you here today. Where is it? Is this the one? Oh yeah, this is it. The upgraded Emeet SmartCam S600L. Yes, this is the bigger brother just dropping now of the S600. And well, this one brings some new and improved features. Let's see what kind of visual we can get out of this camera right now. Now, if this is your kind of thing, your kind of, I guess, content you prefer to see rolling up in your feed, things you want to know about and learn about, you might want to consider subscribing and and I would definitely appreciate that. But the new YouTube algorithm is causing problems. You need to send a message to YouTube. This is what I like. Please feed it to me. What? All right. Right now you're looking at the Canon SL3 1080p 60 FPS. We're going to make a switch over to this device after we look at what's in the contents of the box. That's right. I didn't forget the unboxing. Let's see what we get for our 79 bucks. Maybe I have a link at the end, link in the description to get yourself a little bit of a discount. All right, opening the box. It'll let you know that you're getting your next level clarity with lights. You get your camera like such, looking pretty cool and white with a big old red dot in your face. It comes with the wire built into the device, so you don't have a detachable USB-C. So all in one, they were literal about all in one. Of course, this is going to be able to mount onto your monitor because it has the mounting mechanism, nice and rubbery to keep it from sliding. Nice little looking camera. And if you look on the side of that, you'll see the big old knob there. That's probably where it gets clicky there. Yep. Oh, it's a very light click. Not bad at all. Okay. And you can turn it like the dial on a watch. Cool sausages with a little bit of scrambled eggs and cheese. Just want to make a quick note about something I appreciate. It does come with a USB-C to USB-A adapter, so that's fantastic. And I'm glad that it doesn't have that little wire string that kind of just connects one to the other. You can just take it off and you have USB-C and don't lose your adapter. Just say what it looks like. Nothing else to talk about. The proof is in the pudding, and then when you eat the pudding, it's nasty, you spit it out. What? All right, takers and gamers, and here we are with our Emeet S600L. And right now what you see is the settings out of box. I have not touched it. It is running right now at 4K 30. I can tell you right off the rip, just looking at it in comparison to 1080p, 4K has lots and lots of details that I really prefer not to be showing. What? And this is the quality. It's doing its own little auto white balance. The light right now is on with a white color. Out of box, it has the privacy cover right here in the front, which is in red. You got to make sure that you don't have that on. If you see the little red dot, you know your privacy cover is on and you're not going to get visual. Impressive color representation here. Good white balance, good HDR. Yes, looking here at these shades, you can see the definitions of the shades. And if you look over at the Canon SL3, got nice bokeh and everything, but that HDR is not working as fantastically as the webcam, as you get a lot of detail being blown out with the bright whites. So very nice here in 4K. Now the lighting is, I can switch it right now. It's not so bright. Just be mindful that it's going to be a forward facing light. This is a super warm temperature. You can adjust the dimness of it by, of course, scrolling the wheel dial there, but I'm just going to keep it at max so you can see what it looks like at full potential. Whoa, that's pretty bright and yellow. And if you press it again, it goes into another mode, which is super bright white, very bright white. So if you didn't have any lights on in your room, I'm gonna do that right now. Turn the lights off. All right, just the bright white light capturing all the oil on my forehead. Okay, maybe a little bright. Okay, just the brightness, because it is light that's hitting you head on. Okay, press it again. What other light mode we got? Oh, blue lights. Press it again. We're back to white. So I think this one right here is actually probably the best one. Oh my God, it looks a lot of detail. You can really see the details when a bright white light is on, but I feel like that's too bright. And especially if you're like doing content like this, you're talking into the camera, you don't want that bright white light in your eyeballs, because after a while you start walking around, you start seeing ring lights everywhere. So be careful with your retinas. Let's turn it to 1920 by 1080p. Wow, the colors and everything changed. You're gonna get a higher frame rate there. 60 FPS happening here, which looks pretty smooth, but it took a hit in terms of like colors. Why does it and it looks a little darker? So I got to brighten this up. When you plug it into the software, that's when the magic starts to happen. So let's jump into the Emeet Studio and see what kind of tweaking we can do. Make the switch. All right, here we are in the Emeet software with our awesome new camera, built-in ring light, 4K 30, few resolutions it supports, even 2K or 1440p. And it looks good looking at the detail here on camera. Really balanced here. It's not a big boost in color, but you can make that change. But right now out of box, just plugging it in, you're ready to rock and roll, and with a light in your face if you don't have any other lights. Right now we're running off of 4K, but if you look at the settings here, you can drop it down. You see that you got 2K 30. That probably looks fantastic. And 1080p 60, all this stuff you can change in the software running at 2K. So you're gonna get 2K 30, 1080p 60. I notice you take that big dip in color in 1080p 60, it gets really dim. I wonder why. You'd probably have to go in here and change some of the colors, but let's go back to 4K 30 and keep it there because that looks pretty freaking good. Effect default. So this is gonna, of course, apply some kind of filters to your imagery here. Nostalgia. Yep. So these are all just kind of filters you got going on here. Cool. This looks actually pretty good here. In terms of white balance, the blues is good. You probably could just bump up or color boost a little bit, but not bad. Cold, probably really cool. Whoa, the washout is almost like Prologue. Vivid, let's see what Vivid does. This is pretty punchy. Blows out some of the whites and the details because it's probably enhancing contrast of some sort as well as color boosting, but the colors itself look really good here, I gotta say, with Vivid. Okay, and of course you can customize, and then you see that you'll have customizable features, change the brightness, and the contrast. I think the contrast out of box is good. AE lock, so if you wanted to change your ISO and that sort, I wouldn't change that. Looks good out of box. Sharpness, it's 4K. I wouldn't really mess with the sharpness too much because it starts looking a little wonky and over sharpened. So let's just keep that back at what it was. So maybe the saturation could probably come up a little bit, right? To give you a little bit of a color boost, you can boost saturation. That's essentially what it's going to do. So let's try that. Just bump it up just ever so slightly, a little bit. 43, decent. Not too much because then you start getting red cheeks and stuff like that, right? Blowing in too much color. Now you start getting too warm, right? Although you can adjust the tone there, but I feel like right here at 148, it's popping right now. The auto white balance is looking really good right here, but we can turn that off, right? And probably punch in our own white balance. Right now with the auto white balance, it kind of made things, I would say there's a little bit of a tint of green here, and the room is not green really, but it probably does that because it's really focusing on my face. Okay, let's turn that off, and we can dive away from the green and go more into the warm colors, and you can punch in some warmth in your color. That's probably like really the color of the walls here, but then look what it's doing to your face. So pick and choose. If you look down here, you have other settings to kind of rotate this if you wanted to. You can 1x zoom in a little bit. Can you zoom in? At 4K, you can zoom in. Okay. What happens if I go 2x zoom in? Whoa, with the zoom. Let's see if we can get some nice detail on my beard here. Hey, get that image out of there real quick. Okay. Yep. Nice detail. A little bit of redness in my face because I shaved. So just disregard all of that. Act like you can't see. What? But if you switch it to 1080p 60, this is where things get a little weird. The color settings are no longer applicable. And when I put on auto white balance, it looks a little bit washed out. So auto white balance seems to do okay if you bump up your brightness a bit, significantly enough, and you kind of bump up your saturation a little bit to get some more color into it because it loses color, right? Not too much so that your face isn't too red, but now we got some good coloring, decent brightness, and saturation. The only thing with these lights like that, when you get in closer, you'll see that the brightness kind of brightens up your face, makes it shiny. Don't put too much lotion or baby oil in your mouth. What? Okay, what else we got going on here? Now, this down here these are more filters. These are the same filters you get over here. It's customized just the way we have it there. And if you drop that down, those settings are basically these settings here. We can actually control how bright or how mixed and colorful we want these lights. So if I bring it down a little bit, you'll see that it brings down the light a little bit, and I can bring it brighter like such, really bright if I need it really lit up. Looks good. My goodness, that detail on this camera is fantastic. So I will bring it up 3/4 of the way, not to be so right in my eyes. So when I'm looking at the camera, I'm not talking to you guys out there. I don't see rings for the rest of the day looking around in the world. Okay. Toggle some of these other ones, which is warm, which is going to make your light turn warm like this. It's going to warm up your skin, of course. We can go to cool, which is going to turn our lights cooler. You don't really want it cool like that. You kind of want it mixed, which is the cool and warm mixed, which gives you that kind of balanced look of warm and cool, which is cool. And then you have this ambient light. So if we look at our effects here, you can turn it blue, and this is what it looks like in the software. So there are other colors you can turn this light to. Basically, we have blue, we can turn it to magenta. So there are other colors outside of what you can get with the camera alone without the software. You can only get blue, but when you tap into the app, you get all these other colors here. Pretty cool. Of course, you can get it super duper warm. You see what it's doing to my face, right? At full brightness, like cyan. And then we have a magenta kind of color here. Wow, that's really purpling up your face for a special effect. And then you have this RGB rotation color. Let me see if I can get a shot of this so you can see what it looks like. As you can see here, I have it fully brightened, and if I get close, it's not necessarily changing the colors in my face. Emeet makes pretty decent cameras overall. They've impressed me with not just the camera quality, right? The improvement in the hardware, but also in the improvements with the software to help your cameras become better, right? These companion apps are I feel like this day and age typically are a must-have when it comes to making things, your hardware better, right? It needs support, plug and play out of box. They're fine. I always have my issues with like microphones. Sometimes there's no companion apps to EQ your mic, for example. So mono mics they're really getting really good at that. So overall, the camera is really good. Fantastic 4K. 1080p is really good too. Once you dial in the color manually, because there's a little bit of a switch off you get when you turn to 1080p 60. You get like a little bit of the dip in saturation and brightness. That's why you need these companion apps. With the app, you can bring it right up to speed. And it looks really good. Perfect for gaming, streaming, podcasting, vlogging at home, telling a story about your fantastic life. Lighting, right? The lighting is bright enough. The bright white light is going to be hitting your retina. So you may want to like wear shades. What? Let's not forget to mention the PDAF. Yep. You got some superior super fast focus with this particular camera, and it focuses not just the picture and image in your face, but it will also focus the brightness in your room as well. You can see how fast that focuses. Wow, that's pretty freaking fast here, Techers and Gamers. Really nice. In terms of modern technology, PDAF is the way to go. Phase detection autofocus, in case you're wondering what PDAF stands for. Fastest in the market. So they've included PDAF with his webcam, which makes this way more viable, especially for people out there doing product reviews and you kind of just want to put your product up there and kind of show it real quickly and get real sharp. You see how nice that does with not just focusing, but also focusing on your brightness and white balance. Look at that. If you're interested, links are in the description, Techers and Gamers. Get yourself a little bit of a discount. All right. And with that, I'll see you in my nest. What? I have a bird nest outside. In my next awesome video. Later.